For my sport manager interview, I decided to speak with Mr. John Portland. Mr. Portland is an associate athletic director and works over facilities and operations. He works with all sports and loves his field, and I spoke with him about how he got started on this specific career path. He got started on this career path because he grew up in athletics. He started off small, just working as an equipment manager and doing an internship at Rollins College. He was involved with marketing and communications. When I asked him what a typical day like was for him, he said there is no typical day. Every day is different. He starts his day off by making an outline and a checklist to do. But sometimes there can be big problems, and being in the operations field, they must be problem solvers. I asked Mr. Portland what skill he thought was most important during his job, and he stressed that communication is key. Communication makes his job so much easier, and it's always better to over-communicate because dealing with new faculty and coaches all the time can get very confusing, and they must accommodate. When I asked what was one of the most difficult tasks he has ever had to complete, Mr. Portland said it was when he was at the University of Central Florida, and they had just bought a basketball stadium and a football stadium at the same time. He said it got very overwhelming because there was so much furniture and objects being put into both of them, and it was easy to mess up where things went. I asked Mr. Portland how his experience in college and graduate school helped him prepare for this career. He said he started off small as an equipment manager and a graduate assistant. It made him get used to the odd hours and that things happen quickly in this field. He helped whenever he could and realized that being in athletics, you're always in the public eye. His advice? To get experience when you're in school and not out of it, because some experience is always better than no experience. I asked Mr. Portland, "Did you know this is what you wanted to do?" And his answer was no, not at all. He said it developed and came about, and he was very optimistic, and he said wherever it takes me, it takes me. When asking about the best ways to enter his field, Mr. Portland stressed volunteer work and experience. You get to figure out how things operate, and you're able to get your foot out in the real world. You see that it takes weeks to plan events, and even once one season is over, it's on to the next one. Before coming to NC State, Mr. Portland was at Georgia State, and then he went to Georgia Tech. He then decided it would be best for him to come to Raleigh. Leaving downtown Atlanta and coming to live with the Wolfpack seemed like a good fit for him. NC State has been different for him because, unlike Georgia Tech, we have many more sports and openings because of our school size. There are different things to manage and have control over, and even though each school he has worked with has its positives and negatives, he is happy to be here in Wolfpack Nation.